Father James McQuarters from Belmar Academy is with us. He has, along with the rest of us, watched the incredible success of the film The Passions of Christ. It also brings to mind, at least it did bring to your mind, Father, and thank you for joining us, about the recent sexual allegations, and we can't call them allegations anymore, the reality of these horrific sex crimes committed by priests. You feel that The Passions of the Christ that film has done so much to return people back to the idea of becoming Catholics or remaining Catholic.
And also, Phil, thank you for having me on your program. It's also, I think, important to understand that it has reinvigorated, I think, traditional Catholics so that they have faith in their church again. And I commend Mr. Gibson for this remarkable film that has returned Catholicism and the Catholic flock, I think, back to the traditional view of Catholicism. It's not just that Catholicism is reinvigorated as a faith per se. It is that we are now, more than ever as a Catholic community, involved in returning the Church to its traditional roots, as articulated originally in the Opus Dei, which is a society that has been so very instrumental in trying to keep Catholicism and the Catholic liturgy in its traditional ways. And for that, I think we owe Mr. Gibson quite a bit.
Well, Opus Dei is an organization written about most recently in the Da Vinci Code.
That is correct. It is a society that is a lay liaison, if you will, to the Catholic clerical hierarchy, and it is devoted to maintaining a traditional Catholic liturgy.
Now, people should understand traditional Catholic liturgy, the Latin Mass.
The Latin Mass, the traditional celebration of the Eucharist, the traditional relationship between congregation and priest, as opposed to this, the more modern Mass, which is extant since Ecumenical II, which was in 1962. And
Ecumenical II was a meeting.
It was per se, yes, a meeting in Rome of bishops and Catholic lay people to restate the liturgy in modern terms. And I think it's been a failure. But more than anything else, I think Mr. Gibson should be commended because, as you see, these allegations of sexual misconduct have now gone off the front page and I think are going to be forgotten. And more importantly, I think the sacrament of forgiveness, which was given to us by the Lamb, which is Jesus Christ, the Son of God, is going to become a sacrament that we all bless ourselves with. And for that...
Just not to interrupt you, Father, you're saying that people will now forgive priests for the...
I think the forgiveness will be there. I think the priests can return to what they do, and that is to represent the Son of God here on earth. And
are you saying because, I just want to be clear, because of the Passions of the Christ, sexual misconduct, sex abuse, all of this stuff will be forgotten, and those priests that were guilty of it will return to practice as priests?
I think what Mr. Gibson is trying to say is, yes, let's take what these men do best, these priests who had been led astray by the same demon that tried to lead our Savior astray. And because he was the Son of God, of course, he was not going to be susceptible to that kind of temptation, but the men are susceptible to that temptation. But it's time to forgive and forget. It's time to forgive and forget and to allow the Catholic community to come together again. Mel Gibson has done more for the Catholic Church in repairing her standing, I think, in the international community, so badly shaken that as such the time has come for us to give serious consideration to his nomination, I would consider, to the very highest offices of the Church.
Well, you mentioned this to me before we went on the air. Mel Gibson for Pope?
Well, Phil, to begin with, it would be precedent, but you must understand what a remarkable thing it is that he did. This was a church that was in danger of imploding, and he brought the faithful back. And it would be consistent with the tenets of Opus Dei for a layperson who has been so singularly instrumental in bringing Pope John Paul himself, may the good Lord bless him, was never as successful. And now he is infirm. And he's sick. And certainly has not been as successful as Mel Gibson.
I need to interrupt you, and I want to give our phone numbers out. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Mel Gibson has been instrumental, you're saying more successful, Father, in bringing people back to the Catholic faith than even Pope John Paul, and as such should be considered for the office of Pope. Now, this would be a precedent, as you say. It would be one in which a lay person would become the Pope of the Catholic faith, and not a priest.
There's really nothing in the liturgy, there's nothing in gospel that tells us that the Pope per se must be a member of the Blessed Clerisy, but that only that he can be washed in the blood of the Lamb, and is one who is singularly sacrosanct, and is one singularly unified with the body of the Church. And I believe that it is in the reality of what Mr. Gibson has done that we should focus, not the fact he's a movie star, or that he's a movie director and all of this whatnot, but that he has been able to bring back to the Holy Catholic Church the flock, as we know.
So not that he made a movie.
He would have made a movie. He could have been an individual who wrote a book. He could be someone who preached the gospel. But Mel Gibson is not unlike the Lamb himself. He has given the priests who have seen the chance to spread the word of our Father once more by showing through this movie the depth of the faith of the Catholic Church. And I believe that is the paramount point to be made.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. The Phil Hendry Show is on here with Father James McQuarters. Could you excuse me, Father? I got to take a sip of water.
That's the allergies you've got, Phil.
Yeah, I do have allergies. Hold on. All right. Opus Dei. Opus Dei. How do you spell it? D-E-I?
It is the work of God. Opus Dei is the work in Latin of God. A society of lay people that have tried to bring the church back to its traditional roots and have done such great work. You have to have, I think, been Catholic and involved in traditional organizations, the Catholic faith, to know what Opus Dei is and what it does.
All right, our number is 1-800-449-8686. Mel Gibson, in making this film, has made people forget the sexual allegations of the priests, the sexual abuse of the priests, and so on and so forth, correct?
Well, I hasten to add that the sexual abuse, we should say alleged sexual abuse.
But Father, a lot of it's been proven.
I don't think any of it's been proven. I think the priests have admitted to it.
Well, that in and of itself means guilt, doesn't it?
Well, I think they've admitted to it so that they can help heal the faith. I think you have an awful lot of martyrs among the clerisy that have gone off to...
Are you saying that priests have admitted to acts of sexual molestation simply to martyr themselves?
I think in many cases, yes. But the good news, as Jesus brought us the good news of salvation, I think the good news from the director Mel Gibson is that we don't have to worry about sexual allegations any longer. We don't have to worry about sex abuse any longer. The Catholic faith has been brought back by this wonderful film, this magical film, a film that shows the beauty of the sacrifice of the Lamb. And
all right, now, again, I just want to be clear. Priests have been proven, many priests were proven to have sexually abused children. And
but again, why even think about it now? Because...
Well, I just don't want to rewrite history here.
But this film, The Passion of the Christ, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to martyr the priests anymore. You don't have to harangue them to death. And you don't have to accuse them of sins that they may not have committed and send them to prison and martyr them.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think that we're martyring them. I'm just trying to be clear. Do you believe that there were some priests guilty of these acts?
I believe there were some priests. Oh, absolutely. I believe there were priests guilty of overzealousness in counseling some people. Yes. And
overzealousness so that they would touch someone's sexual organs.
I think again, Phil, I want to get back to the notion we don't have to worry about sexual allegations. The Passions of the Christ has made Catholicism embraceable and has made Catholicism the #1 religion in the world again. And for that, I thank Mel Gibson.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Has the Passions of the Christ caused people to forget all of the abuses of priests in the past? According to Father James McQuarters, not only has it, but it has done more than that. It's led people back to the Catholic faith. And for that reason alone, Father McQuarters and a group of American clerics and lay people who are in the Catholic faith believe that Mr. Gibson should be nominated to, as he says, quote, a high office of the church. And he doesn't rule out the office of the Holy Father himself, the papacy. Now, this is unprecedented, but Father McQuarters says what Mr. Gibson has done for the Catholic faith is also unprecedented. He's done more than the Pope himself. Father James McQuarters joins me from Belmar Academy. Mel Gibson's Passions of the Christ, a film so profoundly influential, so profoundly moving, it has brought people back to the Catholic faith and even to forgive and forget the sins of the priests charged with sexual abuse. Is that the case? And saying Opus Dei, this is an organization that people may not be aware of.
Well, again, Phil, if you've read the Da Vinci Code.
Well, a lot of people may. I haven't read it.
Well, I can tell you that a great many people are reading the Da Vinci Code. Wherever I go, I see the book, and it's difficult to grasp, but it's an insider thing. It's kind of hip and it's kind of interesting. But again, I believe that Mel Gibson is, for all intents and purposes, and you would never have gotten this from a Jewish filmmaker, by the way. You would never have gotten a film so profound, such as Martin Scorsese's Last Temptation of Christ, because Mr. Scorsese is a Jew. The film itself did not, I think, address.
Are you saying a Jewish film? Martin Scorsese, I don't think is Jewish, but would not have addressed this issue.
I don't think as profoundly, no.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Let me go over to a phone call. Laura calling us. Laura, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show with Father James McQuarters.
Yes, Father. I just had a point I wanted to make to you tonight, and that is, you say that because Mel Gibson made a movie about God, that all these child molesters should be forgiven. So why don't we take all of these victims and bring them to the movie and ask them if they're still screaming at night? Have they forgiven these people?
Well,
a movie is not going to change everybody's life.
I think what we see in this film is the sacrifice that the blood of the Lamb can bring to all of us, Laura, and that if you see what the suffering was of our Savior, you'll know that these priests are forgiven whether or not they're guilty.
Absolutely. I know that they are forgiven, but that does not mean that we as a society, we need to forgive them, or we need to forget about them.
The goal of Christianity is to be as Christ-like as possible. And a part of what we learn from our Savior is to forgive. And
well, that's true. Father, what you said is that you did not agree with that they actually did do this. You said that maybe they did do it, but we need to move on. Well, you know what? Why don't you talk to the victims and see if they can move on by seeing a movie? Well, they're able to move on.
Yes, I hear what you're saying, Laura. I think a lot of these victims are, to use the vernacular, to use the colloquialism, a lot of them are beating a dead horse. You know, they're crying and whining.
Well, we're not beating a dead horse. What we're trying to do is, we're trying to heal individuals that were hurt. We have to look at the victims before we're going to look at the priests. These priests, it's not like they went out and had sex with women. They molested and raped boys. They are pedophiles. They should be put in prison like anybody else. Because you are a priest does not mean that you are untouchable. Just like police officers.
That's a good point.
They go to prison.
Well, that is true, but because
there is no but, sir. That is the law.
Because I'm a priest, I should be allowed a little extra something, if you want to use the colloquialism, a little extra something in my envelope. At the end of the week.
It's okay for you to go out and rape and molest children, and we should say, well, gee, he's a priest, that's okay? I mean, do you hear how you're saying that?
Laura,
why don't you call these victims and ask them if it was okay?
Well, I'm not interested in talking to them, because a lot of them, as I said, are very
Why not?
Because
Why
they're
not?
redundant.
Why aren't you interested in them?
Well,
they're
because
little
they're
boys,
dull.
sir.
I understand that, but they keep
No, you don't understand.
beating the same drum. And Laura, I would ask you
to move
to
on. You just want to push it under a rug, and you want to move on. Well, and that's very sad.
I think, Laura,
because
you must move on
society,
yourself.
we cannot move on when we have
And
people like you
were you molested?
that want to just look the other way.
Laura,
there's nothing wrong with turning the other cheek. There's nothing wrong with that.
Laura, you
but
were molested, weren't you?
Forgive the sinner.
Laura, hold on. You got to let the father say. What were you saying, Father?
Laura, I wanted to ask Laura, were you molested too?
No, I was not molested.
You said we.
We as a society.
Gotcha. How do you like me now? Huh? No, you said we, and I think you were... Someone
no, I
touched
said we as a society. Did your
father touch you?
No, my father didn't touch me.
Did your mother touch you?
Wait a minute, this is not about Laura.
Okay. That's got nothing to do with it.
You have to let Mel Gibson into your heart and allow
Mel Gibson into my heart?
Because he made a film for you so that you won't hate as much as you do now. And you're full of hate and anger.
Oh, man.
You're full of the sickness of hate.
Well, wait a minute.
No,
I think
sickness of hate, sir. It's that you don't seem to understand.
The priests have spent the last 2 years in pain, and they need to be forgiven. They touched a boy.
Right. No, they did not touch
Big
boys.
Wow?
They raped them.
What do you mean they touched a boy? Big
them,
Wow.
Sir. If they did not
touch
boys, that's where you're mistaken.
Well, what if they touched a girl? Is that okay? See,
no, it's not.
You have a double standard.
Is that
you don't mind if someone grabs you.
Oh, man,
wait a minute. Father, she's not saying...
Laura, if you would pray with me, our Father...
I don't want to pray with you.
Help Laura allow Mel Gibson into her heart.
Everybody out there looks at things your way.
So that she'll go and see the Passions of the Christ.
He made a movie.
And, I'm sorry?
You want Mel Gibson to be the Pope because he made a movie?
I think he's done profoundly wonderful things for our church, Laura, and that you can't see that.
And I'm not
sorry for you.
I don't
All right, Laura.
agree with that.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on, but thank you for your call. 1-800-449-8686. I agree that she's angry, but I would also like to say that she's making the point you can't forgive these priests and just move on.
Well, I want to ask you, when you see the Passions of the Christ, how long do you want to hear them beating that drum? Oh, he touched me. He touched me. I know he touched you. Jesus H. Can we move on is what I'm trying to say.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. John, hello, you're on the Phil Hendry Show.
How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not angry. I just wanted to say that, I am a Christian, and your message is basically an insult to me, but hear me out.
My message is forgiveness, John. My message is forgiveness.
Look, let me talk, and you'll talk.
Yeah, let the gentleman talk, and go ahead, John.
Okay, all I have to say is, you have love, and you have justice. They are different, they're the same side of it's like a scale. And if you have love with no justice, you don't have love.
They're the same side of the scale?
But if you have, what I'm saying is,
They're the same, two sides of the same coin, I think he wanted to say.
No, he said two sides of the scale.
They're two sides of
the same coin.
Things sure, that too.
John, I tell you what, hold on, John. Hold on, John.
Wait.
Hold on, this is the host. Hold on. We're going to take a commercial break, and I'll get back to you, okay? 1-800...
No, he said two sides of a scale.
He said he misspoke.
Well, I don't understand why I can't have callers who can make sense and not sound like retards.
All right, hold on for a minute. 1-800-449-8686. You're listening to the Phil Hendry Show with Father James McQuarters, Mel Gibson, and the Passions of the Christ. And I want to get Father James McQuarters back with a caller that we had to break off the line with because we went to our break. It's John, and then you have some comments you want to make about the film that you made in the newspaper Vobiscum Weekly, which is the order of priests that you belong to. Go ahead, John.
All I have to say is that God's real big on justice, and these crimes are so heinous that the forgiveness is not mine to give, but these people are ticking time bombs. They ruin lives. God knows how much violence they go out, and that's one point. You just can't get
well, I think you need to understand that forgiveness is part and parcel
of the
miracle of the faith.
I know what forgiveness is. Everybody knows what forgiveness is.
Because you were molested,
these people are too dangerous.
Doesn't mean that you can't forgive.
They're too dangerous.
Did you say you were molested?
It is impractical. What?
Were you molested yourself?
Oh, God, no. Please stop. Look,
did you allow priest liberties with yourself?
No! Good God, no! Jeez, get off it. Look, all I'm saying is, I know a lot of Catholics, too. They're my friends. Look, I'll let you... Look,
go ahead.
Talk. All I got to say is that none of them think anything like you think at all. And all your statements, and especially your association to a movie that's done a lot for Christians, They're just an insult to every Catholic, an insult to every Christian I know.
Be an insult when
My God, if I were the devil, I would hire you. I have never in my life heard somebody.
Joseph, you are in the throes. You are in the throes of Satan's embrace.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You are castigating a priest of God and a man who has given his life
I am saying that a man who
because you allowed the priest to squeeze a cheek
should be topped like a boil on the buttocks of society. That is what I'm saying.
You see the fixation you have on the buttocks?
Oh, blah, blah. You're a whack job.
Could I ask you, are you gay?
No.
Because the way you go, no, sounds...
All right. 1-800-449-8686. In a column that you wrote for the Vobiscum Weekly said, The Passions of the Christ as Medicine, you mentioned that you and Father Staley, who is also a member of your order, went to see this film, and he turned to you and said that he had a real tension release.
That is correct, yes.
What did you mean by that?
I realized in seeing this film that the Passions of the Christ satiated in the mind and body of the molesting priest a certain need, shall we say, for the sadism that drives his crime and his sin. And if the molesting priest can see the Passions of the Christ, to use the vernacular, the colloquialism, he'd get his cookies. And I think...
Wait. Are you trying to tell me that a priest seeing the Passions of the Christ who would want to go molest a child gets his jollies watching?
I think the sad aspect of this crime and this terrible sin these priests commit, yes, can be satiated by this film, yes.
But now you're saying that a priest enjoys watching a man who is playing the part of Jesus being whipped almost to death, and that way he won't molest children.
I think the beginning of forgiveness and healing is the beginning of the healing aspect itself, yes. And I think of Father Staley, who was convicted, I believe, at last count, 9 counts of molestation, and is now working in our rectory garden and also the service porch. I think if he can find release, that there is hope.
Okay, 1-800-449-8686. Here is Samira. Hello, Samira, you're on the Phil Henry Show.
Yes, thank you for the chance. And I wanted to say about the father, and I'm very embarrassed.
Are you a Catholic?
No, I'm not. I'm a Muslim.
Would you like to say confession?
No, I don't. Can I make my point, sir?
Have you sins to confess?
Why would she have sins to confess?
Well, she said she was a Muslim, so 3 guesses.
You know, don't be a smart, you know.
It's a very, very sad thing. Catholics should be very embarrassed for you representing them in this show.
Why am I saying?
Well, let me tell you,
embarrassing. How do you feel about Osama bin Laden? I think that's kind of a...
Let's not get down that road, okay?
No.
Well, she says, hi, I'm a Muslim. I think you ought to be embarrassed by that guy. What's his name? Abu Abbas? Yeah, he ain't too hot either.
Who is he?
Right, who is he? Good.
Yeah.
Good one.
All right, okay, make your point, Samara. Let's go.
When I say I'm a Muslim, you started talking about terrorists. Why don't we talk about what you're saying? You're saying that being molesting children is all right. I'm more happy.
Children is bad, yes, but
believe
flying
me,
an airplane into a building is a little
right
bit worse.
Wait a minute.
Me more than
hold on, everybody, hold on.
Okay.
All right. You're saying, Father, that Muslims flew an airplane into a building and Catholics just molested kids, and that's not the same thing?
I think 3,000 people turned into ash. Yeah, that's a big one. You don't think it is, Samara?
All right, okay, let's move on. 1-800-449-8686.
You see, you get these ragheads.
Well, just don't even worry about that.
Jesus. You shouldn't be molesting children, but by the way, anybody have the directions to the World Trade Center?
All right, so you got a point.
You're bloody well told I've got...
449-8686, Phil Henry Show. Let's go over here to Michael. Hold on for a minute. Let's go to Joseph. Joseph, go ahead. Joseph, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, okay. I didn't show I was on. Maybe you ought to clear the air right up front. I am not now, nor have ever been molested by a priest, and I'm not homosexual. We can get past that.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Huh?
Why are you interested in this topic, then?
Well, I don't know. You're the one that raised it. I had two observations to begin with. One,
well, I find it
you
very
made a statement earlier about the profound nature of Martin Scorsese's film.
The
only thing that was profound about sir, let me finish. The only thing that was profound about that film was its hatred of Christianity. And if we've learned anything from the good thief, is that you must ask for forgiveness. It's just not coming.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Sir, you may.
Can you hear the beautiful organ music in the background behind me? I'm in the chapel here at the Vobiscum Order. Can you hear that music? That music is being played...
Yes, I can, but not very well.
All right, sir. But that music is being played by Father Staley, who not more than 6 months ago was released from the men's colony at Chino for molesting 6 boys ages 5 to 13. And yet now he's making beautiful music like that.
Well, that's fine. I suggest you keep him busy at it and he won't molest anybody else for a while.
I did that, and I took him to see the Passions of the Christ, and he said, I'm satiated.
Yeah. Phil, are you there?
Yes, sir.
This guy's no priest. He's a shaman.
I mean,
no wonder I left
wait a
the
minute.
church.
No, hold on for a minute. Oh, so you're a fallen away Catholic. Ah. You're a Jack Catholic. Isn't that right?
Say again?
What's
I did
your name?
not hear you.
What is your name, Paul?
Joseph.
Are you a Jack Catholic?
I am an ex-Catholic.
Or are you just a jackass? I'm kidding.
Like I said, Phil, the guy's a shaman.
Are you really a priest?
And
if I'm not a priest, if I'm not a priest, may God strike me dead right now.
Father? Father? All right, 1-800-449-8686, The Phil Hendry Show. Father James McQuarters is with us. Are you, because I can hear the organ playing of Father Staley.
Yes, that's Father Staley. If you could hold, Phil.
Go ahead.
Because I want to give away a pair of tickets to go on our parish bus to Laughlin to see the Passions of the Christ. And
you have a pair of tickets you want to give away in my show?
Yes, Father Staley, if you could chill that, thank you. All right. Now, I want people to call your radio station right now, Phil. And,
are you watching TV?
Yeah, Outer Limits is on.
Okay, all right, that's fine, but,
all right, turn it down, will you? All right, if you can answer this question and call, what is the number of the radio station, Phil?
1-800... 449... 8686.
8686.
Okay, what's the question?
All right, be the fifth caller, and...
What's the question, Father?
All right, why did Jesus cross the road? So that's the question.
I've got the answer.
Well, please don't...
He crossed the road because he was nailed to the chicken, and I don't think it's funny, and I don't think...
All right, here's another one. Jesus and Moses were on the golf course, and...
Get out of here!